My 2025 in books. The first almost half of the year, I was actually rereading a series that I read in high school called The Chronicles of Amber by Roger Zelazny. By the first few weeks of May, I was finally done with that. It was time to read some new things. First came Coming Through Slaughter by Michael Ondaatje. Then it was one of my new books, a memoir called Confessions of an Igloo Dweller by James Houston, and that was the only nonfiction I read this year. Next came what became my book of the year, Feed by Myra Grant. Then Black No More, which was a really upsetting follow-up because I think this was my least favorite book this year. From July, I was focusing on reading some Canadian authors, so I read The Troop by Nick Cutter and Nostalgia by M.G. Vasanji, as well as a couple of short stories by Margaret Atwood. August continued my classics reading with The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And that's probably the order that I enjoyed them into. I was definitely starting to feel like I was getting into a reading slump, but luckily, come October, it was time to read some horror and thrillers. I continued with a classic of Dracula by Bram Stoker, and then tried a YA called The In Crowd by Nicholas Pine. Moving into November came more thriller, starting with Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews, then City of Bones by Michael Connolly, and Missing You by Harlan Coben. I kind of stuck with the horror and darker themes, but also really wanted to watch the new Frankenstein, but had never read the original, so I started December with Frankenstein, the original 1818 text by Mary Shelley, and then I made sure I also read some Christmas books, but managed to keep it horror by reading Gremlins by George Keipe.